Our deep dive today. We got this incredible story from a listener, Rachel Serling, out in Seattle.
Ah, yes, the teddy bear story.
That's the one, buddy.
Yeah.
For years, he was just that, her buddy, total comfort object. But then things got, well, they got weird. Really weird.
So our mission here is to kind of unpack what Rachel went through, try to understand these unsettling events.
Exactly. Let's dive into it.
You know, this story touches on some fundamental stuff, psychology, how we handle fear, the power of suggestion maybe, and that deep, deep need for security when you're a kid.
For sure. And Rachel's first connection with Buddy sounds totally normal, like a textbook case, almost.
A primary attachment, yeah.
She got him for her 3rd birthday. He sounds, pretty standard, small, brown, button eyes, had a little red bow.
The classic teddy bear.
Totally. And for years, inseparable. Sleepovers, trips, even like going to the doctor. Buddy was always, always there. He wasn't just a toy. He was real reassurance for her.
And we call those transitional objects, right? They play such a key role in emotional growth. They offer something predictable, something stable, when the world feels kind of chaotic to a kid. That familiar feel, maybe the smell, just having it there can be incredibly grounding, especially when things are stressful or changing.
Makes sense. So fast forward. Rachel's getting older, maybe around 12, and she decides, okay, time to move on. Seems natural, right?
Yeah, totally. Kids grow out of things.
So she puts Buddy in a donation box while cleaning her room. Seems like a normal, maybe a little sad moment of letting go.
Definitely. It's a sign of, growing independence,
Right.
shifting focus to friends, other interests. The expectation is that Buddy becomes a nice memory.
Right, a fond memory. But apparently Buddy didn't get the memo.
Oh,
3 days later, Rachel comes home from school,
yeah.
and guess who's sitting on her bed?
No, Buddy.
Buddy, just there. And the first thought, obviously, is her parents must have fished him out.
That's the logical step, yeah. Maybe they thought she wasn't ready or they felt sentimental themselves. It happens.
But here's where it starts to get strange.
Yeah.
Her mom swore she hadn't touched the donation box. Her dad said the same thing. Total denial.
Okay.
And Rachel said she just felt something was off, wrong. And then she started noticing little things about Buddy.
Like what?
His red bow seemed tighter than usual. And his button eyes looked weirdly shiny. And she started getting this creepy feeling like she was being watched.
That's interesting. Our brains are really good at picking up tiny differences in familiar things. Maybe her unease made her look closer, perceive things differently,
Could be.
or, the power of suggestion. Once she felt something was wrong, maybe ordinary details started looking sinister.
True. But she was determined. She decided to try again. This time she did it herself, secretly.
Okay.
Took Buddy to school. And during lunch, she tossed him into a trash bin, outside, public place, far away. She felt like, okay, this is final.
Wow, okay. That escalation shows she was getting pretty distressed, doing it at school, away from home, away from her parents, possibly intervening again.
Yeah, she really wanted him gone.
Suggests that initial unease was turning into real fear, maybe?
I think so. But
Yeah.
a week goes by. They have a school field trip. She gets home, opens her backpack.
Don't tell me.
Yep, Buddy tucked inside her backpack.
How is that even possible? A school trash can?
Right. And he was different this time. He was dirty, kind of grimy, had this weird sour smell. The bow was gone. And his head, this is the detail that gets me, his head was tilted just slightly to the left, like he was listening.
Okay, that is creepy. The reappearance in the backpack is baffling, logically. And the deterioration, the dirt, the smell, it makes it even more unsettling, like he'd been somewhere unpleasant.
And the tilted head.
That detail gives an inanimate object the sense of awareness. It would definitely fuel that feeling that something's deeply wrong.
You'd think. So that night, she breaks down, tells her parents everything, understandably freaked out.
And their reaction, still skeptical.
Probably initially, yeah. You can imagine them thinking, okay, overactive imagination, teenage drama.
It's a common reaction. Parents try to rationalize. But, with the state he was in, the smell, the dirt.
Exactly. They must have started wondering. Anyway, they did promise so they'd deal with it for good this time.
Okay.
Her dad took Buddy, walked outside, and put him right in their big outdoor garbage bin. Rachel watched him do it.
Ah, so she saw it happen.
Yeah. And she said she felt this huge wave of relief. Like, finally, it's over. She even slept without a nightlight that night. First time in weeks.
That detail about the nightlight really shows how much anxiety this was causing her. Seeing her dad take charge, handle it, must have brought some serious reassurance.
For a little while, anyway.
Oh no, not again.
Weeks later, early Sunday morning, Rachel wakes up,
Mm-hmm.
and her room is freezing cold, ice cold, and her bedroom door wide open.
Whoa. Okay, that's different. The cold, the open door. That feels like an intrusion.
Totally. And she looks over at her desk next to her laptop. Guess who?
Hey, buddy. He's back. Inside her room.
Inside her room, after her dad threw him in the outside bin.
How? Just how? This defies any easy explanation now.
And it gets worse. He wasn't dirty anymore. Clean. And the little red bow was
Oh.
back, tied neatly.
Restored. That makes no sense.
But his eyes, she said they didn't look like buttons anymore. They were glinting, like reflecting light in a weird way.
Glinting. Wow. That's her fear projecting onto it, maybe. Or something else.
And then the final detail, right there on the desk next to Buddy, was a kitchen knife.
A knife. Okay, no. That's terrifying. It goes from eerie to actually threatening. Real danger right there in her room.
You can imagine she screamed her head off. Parents come rushing in.
And the knife?
They recognized it. It was one of theirs. Missing from the block in the kitchen drawer, they had no clue how it got into her room.
So the knife was real, not imagined. That changes everything.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
But then there's this one final super bizarre detail. Her dad picks Buddy up.
Yeah.
And he claims he felt something. Warm. Pulsing. In the bear's chest. Like a tiny heartbeat.
A pulse in a
God.
teddy bear.
Yeah.
That's just impossible. It's completely outside anything rational. What did they do?
They didn't mess around this time. They took Buddy straight to the fireplace and burned him. That night.
Burning it. A final act. Trying to destroy whatever this was. Purification by fire, almost.
And physically, at least, that was the end of Buddy.
I can only imagine the impact on Rachel.
Huge. She never owned another stuffed animal. Ever. And now, she's 28, she said she still keeps a baseball bat next to her bed.
Wow. That fear stays with you.
Yeah. And she said sometimes just walking past the toy store, she gets this weird feeling. Here's this faint, kind of whispery laughter.
Chills.
And she still has nightmares. Buddy just sitting there smiling
Yeah.
with the knife in his lap.
That's profound. The lasting trauma, the bat, the nightmares, the unease. It shows how deeply unsettling this whole thing was and how it still affects her sense of safety.
It's such a disturbing story, isn't it, Rachel and Buddy? It really makes you think about those childhood attachments, those comfort objects we pour so much into.
They really do.
Were they ever really just objects?
Mm.
Or is there something else going on there, something deeper, maybe something we don't quite get about the comfort we look for and the things we hold on to?
Rachel's experience, as extreme as it is, it's a powerful reminder of those emotional bonds. We give these inanimate things such meaning, such presence. And yeah, the logical mind wants explanations, but stories like this, they show how the unexplained can just leave this lasting mark.
So maybe think about it, you listening right now. Those things from your childhood, the ones that really mattered.
What feelings do they bring up, even now? Maybe there's more of those attachments, more hidden stories than we usually admit.